Hi guys, as you can see on screen and by the title of this video, I'm going to be starting a creator team career in F1 Manager 2024 under the name Brawn GP to try and replicate the 2009 World Championship that they won. You can see I chose the origin of technical advancement. With regards to my drivers, I'm going to stick with Valtteri Bottas for driver number 1 to try and replicate sort of similar career statistics to Rubens Barrichello. And then for my Jenson Button, I'm going to go for Pierre Gasly. Just because he's obviously had a race win and had a sort of similar career to that of Jenson's at the time he joined Brawn, hoping that ultimately either of my drivers are in the championship and we'll focus on that. But what I want to aim with this is within the first year to try and either compete for the constructors, which might be out of reach, or a drivers' championship. With regards to the staff, I'm going to choose predominantly the higher rated staff. As you can see, I'm choosing all the highest rated staff. And then choose Bono, Peter Bonington, and then we also go with the other Mercedes engineer, Marcus Dudley. Staff I don't think make too much of an impact, obviously. Starting out on a new team, I think the relationship between the driver and their engineer is always going to be sort of low anyway. With regards to the livery, I've already edited and pre-saved some liveries and driver suits designs just to match or similarly match those of the Brawn GP team from back in the day. I've got a little logo as well. It's not perfect, but it sort of matches that. Gets the vision across, as you can see, selecting this, and then obviously we'll have to choose our sponsors accordingly. So there we have it. We have the Brawn GP logo, the livery, and then our two drivers in their outfits, Valtteri Bottas and Pierre Gasly. And we're hoping with the technical breakthrough origin, we can try and compete at this front of the grid. And like I say, hopefully win a drivers' championship or a constructors' championship. We'll take a championship. We'll probably try to keep it just a one-year career to try and replicate that win of Brawn GP in their first year, winning the championship. As you can see, I'm calling my team principal Ross Brawn, and we're starting on the hard difficulties, just so it's as challenging as it can be. Now, looking at the new interface we have for F1 24, we've got an email for our first day, so we'll just skip ahead. As you can see, first race is Bahrain. We've got some pre-season testing results coming in, so we'll just have a quick look at where we are in relation to everybody else on the grid. So our current overall ranking is 3rd. Our engine cooling is the strongest, which might become pivotal throughout the season, and we've got quite good high speed and tyre preservation. So what I'm going to do is start some early designs, developments, try and improve the car as early as possible. We're going to go with the front wing to start with, use a good chunk of the CFD and wind tunnel hours, just to try and get a quick sort of boost. I like to reduce the weight on any, or durability on any of the designs, just to try and help increase acceleration and speeds. And as you'll see later, as our car's one of the more heavier ones on the grid by the looks of it. With this one, we're looking to get these updates just after the Melbourne Grand Prix. That should hopefully come in time for Suzuka, giving a chance to manufacture the front wing and develop further. The second design, I was contemplating between the side pods and the rear wing. I think we go for the rear wing, just to also improve the top speed, try and get to first in terms of top speed, and bridge the gap to the Red Bulls ultimately at the start of the season, Red Bulls, Ferraris, and I presume McLarens will come later on in the season as a stronger candidate, like in the real life season so far. We are wanting to also work on a bit of low speed, because we are lacking in that department, and a couple of the races, Miami, Monaco, will require some low speed. So we don't want to drop points across the board if we're trying to compete for a championship, just at certain races. And what I'm doing here is I'm manufacturing a chassis, and then I'm ultimately setting up a bunch of manufacturers early for those that I'm not developing initially. So we've got a sort of catalogue in the warehouse, a backup, because what I found with this game so far, you do tend to get through a lot of your stock, and the funding isn't as high per race as it was in previous F1 Manager F1 Manager games, I think in the previous you could earn sort of $3 to $5 million per race on race results, whereas here you'd be lucky to get around $1 million a race, and then obviously you get the sponsorship, which we're deciding now. Go with Arcoa as a technological brand, just because they have quite large funding ultimately, and as a small team I think we need as much money as we can get. You can see I've just skipped the negotiations in terms of that, but with regards to the sponsors, it's pretty straightforward. We've gone for sponsors where there's no mandatory activities like an energy drinks company as such, and ultimately as much funding as we can get, both upfront and through the races, just because I know from previous experience of just playing this game in the short term, the funding is an issue later on in the season, especially when it's performance based. As you can see, the sponsors have been applied to both the car and the driver suits. I'm not going to waste too much time editing those. I'm pretty satisfied as to how they are. With regards to the facilities, I want to upgrade the factory as early as possible, just to allow us to take on another project. Then with regards to the other facilities, staff facilities, I build an upgrade and then build all of the operations facilities. This is because early on in the season, the new drivers, they're negative on the mentality, which is a new thing to F1 Manager 24, is all about the facilities, and even if the performance is good, they still have a sort of grudge on the facilities. Now, I'm looking at a potential young driver for the future. I know I said it would be a one-season wonder, but I might continue this career, not on YouTube. Kimi Antonelli, we all know the hype behind him, future Mercedes driver. I think if we can get him signed for the future on this career, I could have a potential youngest world champion with him next season or season after, depending on how well the progression goes. Here you can see we're doing the sponsor plan for the upcoming 6 weeks. As you can see, we're trying to choose the activities that have the least impact on the drivers' ratings, just to try and maximise their performance. I'm not sure too much on how it affects all the facilities and staff. I know it obviously has a negative impact, but I think ultimately, as long as the driver's performance there and the car's developed well, I think you can get the best results you can. As you can see, we'll earn 1.16 million from the sponsor plan, and as I said, with the races, in terms of race performance, you can earn sort of up to around $1 million. So with that, you can see that we're going to be quite cash strapped in the later parts of the season, when you have to keep developing new parts to stay competitive. I'm going to end the episode here. The next up is Bahrain. That'll be the next episode, and ultimately the first race episode. What I'll intend to do is do the full practice, qualifying and race in one episode per race, and then handle the post-race business afterwards, sort of emails, developments and stuff. But thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.